gutsy move coming through the sixth turn. And Sullivan, despite that bent wing, continues to lead this race.
Well, I'm going to give an opinion, Paul, that, and sometimes I'm wrong on these things, that Mario's turned his boost down. He's 5.5 seconds roughly behind Sullivan. And I think the reason for this is he's going for a guaranteed one stop. And I'll bet you see Mario pick it up good after one fuel stop today.
Well, let's think back to earlier in the season. The situation was, let's take a look at this. This is now the battle for third as the fight between Bobby Rahal and Little Al has moved up, and they're right on the back wing of Jeff Brabham. So now it is still a battle for third place. Remember, Sullivan is first, Andretti is second. This is the battle for third as they come back the accident from Marino's car. And they were able to move up on Jeff Brabham, and then they had to fall back away as they go through the chicane.
Well, what happened is they caught a car, they were lapping, and there's Jeff again out in the clean air. And of course, the camera's working fairly good, but flickering a little bit.
You saw Jeff Brabham look over there, check out that right side rearview mirror. He wants to make sure he can keep everybody back as he comes onto the main stretch. Now you'll see him, there are the pit boards to the right. He's on the main straight. You see it's not truly a straight. It continues to bend and bend and bend, and it tightens down quite quickly.
There is no straightaway here. What we call a straightaway is really just a slow, long turn.
Down second gear, first turn, second turn, then again a bend back to the left. Now coming is the most difficult turn on the course. It's a right-hander. It is also off camber. Watch the car kind of cock over to the left. Very difficult because it's tough to judge, and it also gets slick.
Very slow, and that's a first gear corner. And incidentally, this track is probably one of the most tiring tracks on the entire IndyCar circuit.
Extra tiring today because it is so humid. Jeff Brabham, that's a wave. He's thanking the car that he moved past. Now about 145 miles an hour. He's past the accident. This is live as you watch it. And we come back to the leader, Danny Sullivan, still with the bent front wing. He'll keep it that way throughout this race.
Well, they're not going to change that wing as long as he's running as good as he can, especially if he didn't even know it was bent. They're darn sure not going to change it. You know, he can't see that wing from inside that race car. Not when his shoulder harnesses are pulled down tight on him, Paul.
All right, so Danny Sullivan, now he really comes into traffic. That's Jose Legarza just in front of him. And there is the second place car. That is Mario Andretti. Now remember, he led in the early going, and then once Danny Sullivan pushed his way past him, Andretti seems to drop back. So now let's check in with Bruce Jenner. Bruce, you're talking with the pit crew. What is the situation there? What are they saying about Mario?
All right, I'm with Darrell Soapy right now. And Darrell, what is the condition with Mario? It seems to be falling back a little bit, holding on.
Yeah, the car just seems to have a little bit of an oversteer condition right at the moment, so we'll see what happens when it runs down on a little lower on fuel.
What was the philosophy before this race started? Was it try to stretch it out like you did at Long Beach and make it on one stop, or are you going to go hard and definitely make two stops?
Well, we'll probably have to make two stops. If we got way out in the lead or something, we could have backed the boost down, but now that Sullivan's out in the lead, but we're going to have to go hard and try to catch him.
All right, well, good luck to you. I noticed you also had a tire right up here on the wall ready to put it on. Is there a possibility of an extra pit stop to change that tire?
No, if we change, we'll change all four.
Okay. Paul Page.
Thank you, Bruce Jenner. There's Mario Andretti. Darrell Soapy talked about his car, talked about what they are thinking, the car not handling. But Mario Andretti's team is very capable of making changes in that car in the pit stop. They did it at Portland 2 weeks ago and got it working perfectly. He won that race. Back to the leader. Here is Danny Sullivan as he chases now behind the slower car of Jose Legarza. And there's a whole string of slower cars sitting in front of him. Sullivan comes to the inside, but you really have to tiptoe through here because you're not always sure they know you're there.
Yeah, they made a pass right there, so he's doggone sure working good. He went by Pete Halsmer. That was Pete instead of Jose there. Just pass him like there's nothing to it, the slow stuff.
Pete Halsmer on the circuit. He's actually, as Danny Sullivan comes through, he's moving through the back positions actually in about the 22nd position in the field as he begins to lap the cars now. Scotty Brayton just in front of him now as Danny Sullivan weaves his way through. And of course, Mario Andretti has the same problem as well. And Sullivan has to be careful. There you got a good view of it as Brayton just drifted across the front of him. Now, see, chock the brakes hard.
Very hard place to pass.
And Danny Sullivan continues to lead at the Meadowlands. He picked up the lead from Mario Andretti on lap number 11. 19 laps are complete. We'll be back. We are back at the U.S. Grand Prix at the Meadowlands. I'm Paul Page with Bobby Unser, Bruce Jenner, and Gary Gerald, and we're looking at Michael Andretti, the younger Andretti. He started this race 19th in that Craco Electrolux car. He is now running 10th. He's really moving up.
You know, Michael was very fast last year, if you remember, here in the rain, and it's kind of his type of track. He's muscle, he's strong, he's capable, but they haven't had much luck with the car lately, so I'm happy to see that Michael's gained as much as he has.
Young, aggressive young man, really cut his teeth running more on the road circuits, and this is indeed his kind of circuit. He likes to really throw the car around. He's doing a nice job with it today.
Yeah, it's kind of like Super B racing to him, you know.
Here comes Jeff Brabham into the pits. This car was running in third place at the time that he headed for the pits. Jeff Brabham carrying our onboard kart cam. Something wrong with the machine. Remember, the observers earlier suggested something wrong with the rear suspension. Bobby, that's where they're working. There's the live view.
He's got something serious wrong because he came in a little too slow to be in a hurry. I think he feels that he's got a pretty serious problem.
Jeff Brabham's crew, that orange disc tells him, hang on, don't get excited. We're working there. We've got our hands down in the back of the car. And now the crew going to work on that machine.
Of course, people will be pulling hard right now. Get it fixed in a hurry.
So Jeff Brabham, car number 7, he is into the pits, so that changes the fight up at the front of the field and moves Bobby Rahal up into third place.
It looks like they're getting ready to pull the hood, Paul, and if you pull the hood, that's bad.
Jeff Brabham, who qualified third in this field for this race today. Martin Fox, Paul Hawkes, the co-crew chiefs on that machine. They go to work on the car. The rear wheels comes off, and this looks like it is going to be an extensive stop. So we go back to the leader of this race, Danny Sullivan, car number 4. He is out in front. He picked up the lead on lap 11 from Mario Andretti. And in second place now is Andretti. In third place is Bobby Rahal. Al Unser Jr. is currently in fourth place. Emerson Fittipaldi 5th. Bruno Giacomelli 6th. And Kevin Kogan has moved up to 7th with Al Unser now running in 8th. And of course, we mentioned that Michael Andretti is in 10th. That's the top 10 on your field here with this man leading the race.
Well, he's still doing a very good job, but he certainly is not slowing down. So it's going to be interesting to see if they want to make 1 or 2 stops. But Danny is not slowing down. He's charging hard all the way. And of course, I like to see that type of a thing.
All right, it is our leader, Danny Sullivan. We talk about the fine-tuning of the aerodynamics on these cars, and then you make a massive readjustment on a wing like that, and the driver takes over and continues to drive well.
Makes mockery out all that, doesn't it?
Now, let's consider that stop by Jeff Brabham, and we will go back to Jeff Brabham's pit. Here is Bruce Jenner. Bruce.
Paul Page down here in the Jeff Brabham pit. What had happened is they had an ignition failure, completely stopped on them. They completely rechanged the ignition, and Jeff Brabham has gotten the car restarted. They're waiting, making sure that the bodywork is on. He's looking at his crew chief, waiting for the signal to get going. But Jeff Brabham was running such a great race in this Silver Bullet. They're putting on the rest of the bodywork, and he'll be back out on the race, but unfortunately, he'll be way behind. Paul Page.
Well, Bruce Jenner, Jeff Brabham is falling down through the field now as the rest of the cars come past, and he has dropped to 24th place. Now, Chuck Sprague with the air wrench in his hand out over the wall looking for Danny Sullivan and looking for the possibility of a pit stop. Lap 24, the leader heads down the pit road. This is very early, Bobby Unser, for a stop. It certainly isn't scheduled.
Well, let's see what they do. It could be. It's going to be a tire stop. They're going to change at least 3 tires on the thing. I don't know why. It seems to be a little bit early.
All right. As Danny Sullivan is in, Bruce Jenner is right in the area. Let's see if we can't call in Bruce Jenner. Are you ready to go?